Alrighty then. So, Umineko, where did we leave off for this one? We left off with Angie. Yeah, we were on a quest for puzzles and riddles, and I solved most of them. Fell for Kumasawa's. Still kind of upset about that a bit. But I did manage to get all of the medals. And my prize was a Beatrice doll, which was pretty interesting. Now what's after that? We apparently passed out with as Angie. Battler carried us to the parlor, and then he started an after party with everybody else, all the demonic and magical people. And then we woke up, and we wandered into that party. And so that's where we begin again. Right. Yeah, we were struggling with the door. I turned it. Click. The door wouldn't open. Did I accidentally lock it just now? I turned it. Click. The door won't open. It didn't open the last time, so it should have opened this time. I don't have a clue how I'm supposed to turn it to unlock the door. I kept on alternating between turning the lock and roughly twisting the doorknob. I began to get irritated, wondering why they'd locked me away behind such an inconvenient door. Eventually, I ran out of patience and pounded hard on the door, but that noise didn't bring anyone to me. Why am I locked up in a place like this all alone? Everyone else is having a fun party, right there in the hall. Let me out of here. At that moment, a cold wind blew past me. The wind rippled through my hair. Wind? Inside? I turned around to find the window curtain waving about. There was a sound like scraping or crying. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. At some point, the double window had opened up outwards towards the darkness. The icy wind that came through it told me that this window was the only exit from this room. Huh? I suddenly realized that the darkness beyond the open window was glaring at me. My heart leapt. Jingle. A cute sound rang out. I finally understood. That sound was a cat's bell. The glaring emerald eyes in the darkness were those of a cat standing in the open window. Its pitch-black, luxuriant fur left only the eyes visible, blending in with the darkness easily. Did the Ushirimiya family own a cat? It has a bell on it, so it can't be a stray. It's a cat someone owns. At any rate, the cat was standing by the window, and now staring straight at me. Who are you? Of course, the cat didn't answer my question. I didn't think it was a cute cat, but I thought it might be trying to tell me something. So I approached it slowly. As I did, the cat did an about face, turning its back to me. Then it turned its head to look at me, almost as though it was telling me to follow it. And it leapt down into the darkness, leaving the jingle of its bell behind. When I peeked out the window, I saw the cat waiting for me under the pounding rain. I finally realized this window was the only exit out of this closed room parlor. The cat must have come to tell me that. The longer I keep standing around here, the longer the cat will have to wait in the rain. That's no good. It'll catch cold. I climbed up onto the windowsill and went out the window. The wind was strong and the rain was cold, but I didn't get as wet as I thought I would. I might have been in the mansion's shadow. When the cat saw that I was outside, it walked along the wall of the mansion as if guiding me. It quickly disappeared into the blackness, but every now and then it would turn around and set the bell jingling to let me know it was there. Eventually, a window with light seeping out came into view. It was the window to the hall. When I peeked inside, I saw everyone having a good time. I couldn't hear their voices, but they were all right there. Open up! Open up! I pounded on the window, but no one heard. Maybe the window was really thick, or maybe it was just noisy inside. Or it might have been so dark outside that I blended in with the darkness. In any event, no matter how much I hit the window, it didn't look as though anyone noticed. By this point, my loneliness was giving way to anger. Why don't you notice me? Why did you lock me up in that room all alone? I've had enough. I'll get inside somehow and yell at everyone. When the cat realized I had given up knocking on the window, it led me onward with another jingle. But just where is this cat going? I know it's following the wall of the mansion, but that's not the way to the front door. The front door might be locked. I'm sure the cat knows a way into the mansion, and it's leading me there, away from the light seeping from the hall, and towards the blackness lit only dimly by the lights in the garden. The cat and I continued to walk. Then, I found it. An open window. The cat stood below it and looked between me and the window, as though telling me to go inside. Thanks, kitty. I'd like to give you some milk to thank you. Won't you come with me? When I walked closer to pick the cat up, it slipped away from my hands and flew into the bushes in a nearby flower bed. Then, as though it really had melted away into the darkness inside the bush, all traces of it vanished. No matter how much I strained my ears, I couldn't hear the sound of that bell. Suddenly, the wind changed directions and the rain started to hit me fiercely. I can't stay in a place like this forever. I'll go inside. What room is this, I wonder? I climbed up into the windowsill and entered the room. Then the window silently shut and locked itself. Good. That saves me the trouble of doing it myself. The room was completely dark. However, as my eyes got used to the darkness, I was able to make out a few things. It was a large room. There was a long table and many chairs. It was the dining hall. Perhaps because I realized this and relaxed, it quickly became hard for me to make out details. I searched blindly along the wall for the light switch. Then, finally, I felt a familiar shape. Wouldn't it be annoying if I pushed this and the light didn't come on? Click. In fact, it was nearly the opposite. An annoyingly bright light filled the dining hall and made my eyes hurt. I slowly opened my tightly shut eyes. And then, I saw the state the room was in. The dining hall was covered with blood. Here and there were humans lying on the floor. Then, I realized that two of the people were my own parents. Well. Hey, you having a great time, people? If anyone's not having a good time, we're gonna eat you. Yell and sing the praises of tonight's banquet. The hall was alive with the mingling of humans and the magical illusions who lived on this island. At first, everyone stayed with their own groups, too nervous to mingle. However, as time passed, people started to move around, and both halves began to chat happily together. But they just never listen, do they? Leadership's important. You need to lead by example if you want anyone to follow you. Howdy, howdy. Welcome, welcome. Studenko, Advik. Maybe some subordinates are like that, but I've never had any success with ordinary methods. That's so weird. Definitely a weird grouping of people. Anyway, you're done for if your subordinates don't take you seriously. It's important to scold people loudly, even for small mistakes. Every once in a while in front of everyone else. Not really, Rosa. You can't do that. It'll just make everyone scared. A leader has to be an example for everyone to follow. If you really want to be a leader... Everyone listened intently. That was a good voiceover. Everyone listened intently to the Vegeta Lion's theory on leadership. This was after several rounds of drinks had gone by, and everyone was unnaturally focused on the conversation. Kitty! Why do you get stronger the more jealous you are? Because of math, apparently. Don't make it sound bad. If I want something, I won't let it slip away. I always put that theory into practice. There's nothing more to it. What was with all that stupid math? Thanks for waiting, everyone. Even more food is on the way. Putting in a family party like this. And yet, I hate to admit it, every moment of his movement of his is flawless. Just what sort of hotel did he train at? Too bad Runaway-sama just happens to be totally perfect. But I still love Goda more. This one's been cooked just right. The seven sisters had blended into the party perfectly, and they were making things interesting. And yet, many great mysteries are called masterpieces, despite being shut down by Van Dien's 20 rules. It's not like I'm trying to shut down anything. Mystery novels exist for the sake of your own amusement. If you have fun, that's all that matters. Know that even the great wizard hunting rite has gone quite soft. Whether it's literature or forms of amusement, generally accepted rules change for the times. It must be the same with mystery novels, yes? Everyone chimed in on Will's theory of mystery novels. There was no shortage of things to talk about. Yes, that is a fitting attitude for a beginner. However, at that rate, you'll never become a key player in your organization. But note that the regulations are always to be enforced. It's something for newbies to do. Don't forget that regulations and rules are pretty much guidelines for the new guys who don't know any better. You said it. You can't really call yourself an adult until you learn how to move outside the rules. You're still a kid if you let the rules hold you back. I can't stand letting other people do the work. I'm a mammoth of greed. I'll do all the jobs myself. That's some spirit you've got there. How much are they paying you for being a sister of purgatory? A good job at my husband's business instead. I recommend you personally. The humans and the illusions were now very much on casual terms. I see. So this is how it's done in the world of witches. Yeah. My dog is outside running around. Yeah, Nya, you've got it, Nya. Where we come from, you pour the tea into the saucer, press your palms on the table, and slurp it up like a dog, Nya. What the hell are you teaching her? Who does that? Natsuhi, what do you think you're doing getting tricked like that, and at your age? Get Get away from her, Satan!
夏日さんに向かってなんて失礼な。
How could you be so rude to Natsuhi-san?
え、
Huh?
なん
Why
で
are you
泣き出すん
crying,
ですか。
Satan?
サタン、
Was I
私
too hard
そ
on
んな
you?
に厳しく叱りましたか。
シエスタ410さん
Just 410-san, please stop giving my pure and trusting mother crazy ideas.
大丈夫
Don't worry,
後にならない
it
程
won't
度
leave a
に加
mark.
減してありますから
410 started yelling about animal abuse, jumping around in circles and holding her butt.
私の王子様
I wonder if there's a prince out there for me.
アズモ
I
は
want to
ね
have some hot,
燃える
passionate
ような
love.
恋がしたいの。恋をしたら
Are
アリ
you
ア
talking
の
to
素敵なお姫様になれる
If
か
I fell in love, could I become a beautiful princess too?
なれるとも。
Of course.
恋は奇跡。
Love is a
パワーだ
miracle.
ミネラルだ。
Power a mineral.
無敵の力
They
を
grant
与
you
えてくれる
invincible
のだ。
strength?
愛は色欲
Is
なん
that
だ
the
よ
person who once claimed that love equals lust, I hear? Indeed. It would seem she's getting her fill every night. Shut up, you perverts.
ハレンチ女とスケベジジイ。
The circle surrounding Beto was always a lively one.
わかるよ
Yeah,
その気持ち
I know how you feel.
僕たちは誰
It's
か
only
の
when
命
we're
令
given
され
orders
初
that
め
we find meaning in
て
our
生きる
lives.
価値が生まれる
I get nervous if I don't have any orders.
なんで誰か私
Someone order me to do something or I'll die.
じゃないとし
そんな根性
You
じゃ
can't
ダメ
have
だ
that attitude.
自分の生
You've
き
got
る
to
価
find
値
your
は
own
自
meaning
分
for
で
your,
生み出す
your life.
自分
Get
で
your own
切り
path.
開く
そうよ
That's right.
絶対の意
Your
志を
resolve
持たない
has
と
to be
ダ
certain
メ
and
よ
absolute, okay?
私が人
Back
間
when
に
I
なっ
was
てた
human,
頃は
I lived
そ
like a
りゃ
daredevil
ドブ
all
に
the
生
time.
きてたわよ
A bit shakily, Lambda Delta started talking about her theory of life. Apparently, she'd also had her fair share of champagne.
なんとも
What a
なんか
bizarre
不思議な
scene.
光景ですそうです
Yeah,
ね
I guess so.
ドラノール様
Eleanor-sama,
おかわ
would
り
you
に
like some more to
いか
drink?
がですかジュースならもらえ
Something
ます
non-alcoholic.
子供です
After all, I am a kid.
お
Hey,
シャノンちゃんでいいや
I guess. Ah, Shannon-chan will do.
ちょっといいかい
Do you have a second? Battler came back into the hall. He was searching for a servant, and the first one his eyes met was Shannon.
はいバトラ様
Of course,
お
Battler-sama.
呼びでしょうか
Do you need something?
悪いんだけどさ
Sorry. Would you mind lending me the
客間の
key
鍵
to
を
the parlor?
貸してくれるかい
客間でございますか
parlor?
マスターキーでも
I
行
can
き
get
ます
you into the
が
master key,
何か
but why?
いや
Well,
エン
was
ジ
just
は
wondering
眠
if
ってる
Angie
か
was
なと思っ
asleep,
て
so I went
客
over
間に
there.
行ってきたんだが鍵がかかってた
The
んだ
door was locked.
鍵ですか
Locked?
私たちは
After we carried Angie sama to the sofa, we shut the door, but we didn't lock
扉
it.
は閉めておりますが鍵は閉めて
あ
Uh,
あまさか
don't tell me
エンジ
that
が
Angie
自分だけ仲間
she
外れ
rather
に
felt
され
like
た
she
と
was
思
being
って
left out of the fun and
内
locked the
側
door
から
from the
鍵を
inside
閉め
and
て
out.
じけてやけやれや
Silly kid.
お開けしましょうか
Shall we unlock it then?
れそうだな
Yeah, if you don't mind.
頼めるか
Sorry about the trouble. Battler and Shannon left the hall together. In the hall, Lambda Delta started suggesting that they all have another quiz tournament together. Apparently, the Witch of Certainty would be handing out prizes. Everyone seemed enthusiastic about the idea. Smiling contentedly at the ensuing uproar, Battler headed towards the parlor.
鍵がかかっておりますね
It really is locked.
開けてよろしいですか
Shall I open it?
うーん
Hmm.
寝ていたら悪いからと
He was sleeping,
ロックはしなかったんだ
I
が
did knock on the door, but she
鍵をか
locked
け
it.
たってことは
That proves
起
she
きた
woke
って
up.
証拠だしな一度ノックするか
Let's try knocking once. Battler knocked on the door and called Angie's name. However, there was no response from the other side. He pressed his ear against the door, listening carefully, but there was no hint of Angie unhappily throwing a cushion at it.
一通りへそを曲げて
I'd
から
fallen asleep again
ま
after
た寝ちまっ
having
た
her
んだ
little
な
tantrum.
開けてくれるか
Could you open it for me?
かしこまりました
As you wish. Shannon took out her master key and unlocked the door. Then she stepped back to let Battler go through.
エンジェ
Angie,
入るぞ
I'm coming in. Speaking in a quiet voice to avoid waking Angie as she was asleep, Battler opened the door. Then, just as the door was opened, a chilly breeze drifted by. The breeze, which felt like outside air, immediately caught the attention of the pair, and they looked at each other. It could be seen at a glance that Angie wasn't in the parlor. The curtains on the wide-open window fluttered about.
Angie?
Angie? Angie?
Angie?
A blanket lay crumpled on the sofa. It sat there just as Angie had left it after waking up. The blanket was slightly warm. Clearly, she had been here until a short while ago.
Angie-sama,
Angie-sama,
いらっしゃいません
are
か
you there? She obviously wasn't playing hide-and-seek. Angie was nowhere to be seen in the parlor. Battler peered out the open window into the rainy blackness. So, she slipped out the window in this rain and went... where?
エンジ様は
Do you think
窓
Angie-sama
から
might
出
have
て
gone
い
out
か
the
れた
window?
というのでしょうか。
寝ぼけるにも
That'd make for one hell of a
ちょい
sleepwalker.
とほどがあるな。
She couldn't have left from the main entrance, so she probably doesn't have an umbrella. It was very hard to imagine a reason Angie might have for going outside in this weather. I have a bad feeling about this. This shouldn't be happening. I'm the game master of this game board. So why are we in a situation that the game master can't understand? A large bolt of lightning lit up the surrounding area for an instant. I was unable to see any trace of Angie. Okay, it's my turn to think of a question. Okay. So you have a third of a cake, a quarter of a cake, and a fifth of a cake all on a plate. It takes 30 minutes to eat one whole cake. So how much is left on the plate when you finish eating? At that moment there was a roar of thunder and the lights flickered. The cheery voices vanished in an instant, like candles being blown out.
ゼロ個でしょ。
None.
あんたが引っ掛けら
That's
れ
a
た
riddle you
問
were
題じゃ
tricked
ない
with once, isn't it? Amidst the silence, one voice rang out and answered Lambda's riddle. The crowd parted, and the form of a girl, a 1,000-year-old witch, came into view. She had been invited. She was an official guest, holding an invitation to this party.
遅刻してごめんなさい。
Sorry, I'm late.
パーティーを
I
盛り
was
上げ
busy
る
planning
催し
some
の準備を
festivities
して
to
いた
liven
ら
up the party.
すっかり遅くなってしまって。
As Berncastle spoke, she looked around at everyone.
あら、
Oh,
かけらの海で
I
朽ち
thought
果
you
て
two
たと
were
思って
running
い
away
た
in the Fragment Sea.
今は私
They're
の
my
狛
pieces
犬
now.
素敵でしょ
Pretty cool, right? She stared at Leon and Will with an unnerving smile on her face, though she seemed to lose interest.
バトラーはどこ？
Where's Battler?
ベアと
And Beato?
招待客が
I'm a
来たの
guest, aren't I?
出迎えてほし
Isn't
い
there
もの
anyone
だ
to
わ
welcome me in?
俺はここだ。
I'm here.
そなたを招き
We
は
did invite you,
だが
but I
来
didn't
るとは
expect you
思
to
わなかった
actually
のだ
come.
な。なるほど。
I see.
これは奇
This
跡
must
という
truly
わ
be
け
a miracle.
うまいことを言
Well,
うじゃな
that's an
い。
interesting way to put it.
何をみんな静まり
Why
返
did
っている
everyone
の
get so quiet?
パーティーでしょ
This is a party, right?
わざとらしい
Go
くら
ahead,
い
be
に
noisy
賑やかに
just
して
for
ち
the
ょう
hell
だ
of
い
it. Or is you welcoming me with silence part of some kind of joke?
今度はお前の番。
Now it's your turn.
何が
My turn for what?
バトラーはどこ
You
だ
asked
と
where
お前は
Battler
尋ね
was.
た。だから俺は
So
こ
I
こだと
told you I was here.
次はお前の番。
Now it's your turn.
何の話だ
What are you talking about?
何かあったのか
Did something happen?
エンジが消えた。
Angie's gone.
ゲームマスターの俺
Even
に
I, the game master, don't
ど
know
こ
where
にい
she
たかわ
went.
からない。
そんなバカな
That's
これ
insane.
はそなたの
Isn't
ゲ
this
ーム
your
であろう
game?
そんなこと
That
が
doesn't
あ
make
るわけが
sense.
ない
エンジが消えたのが
Vanity
ゲームマスター
disappearing
バト
isn't
ラ
a
のシナ
scenario
リオで
created
ない
by
ならば
Battler.
ゲームマスター
That
が
means
他
there
に
must
い
be
る
another
ことに
game
なる
master.
ね。
そのような ことがあ
Is
る
that
という
even
のか。
possible?
ええ
Oh, yes.
私も
I
驚
was
いてる
surprised
わ
myself.
胸がすくような
Just
楽
when
し
I
い
opened the
ゲー
game
ムを
board to
始め
start
よ
a
うと
delightful
ゲ
game
ー
of
ム
my
版を
own,
広げたら全く
I
同
found
時
that
に
Battler had
バ
started
ト
up
ラ
this
もおかし
bizarre
なゲー
game
ムを
at the
始め
same
ていた
time.
というわけゲームマスタ
I
ー
never
ですか
thought
ら
I'd be in a
ね
game with two
おか
game
しなこと
masters.
もあるものね
Just make up rules and stuff as
そ
you
れは
want,
つ
huh?
まり
In
お前
other
がエン
words,
ジをどこかに
you're
隠して
admitting that
認
you
めた
hid
と
Angie away somewhere.
そうなる
It
な。
would seem so.
ゲームマスターのバ
After
ト
all,
ラ
no
を
one could
描いて
introduce
い
the
ない
scenario
シナ
you
リオが
didn't
生み
build,
出せるのは
except another
もう
game
一人の
master.
ゲームマスター殿しかいないということになるのだ。
パーティーを盛り上げる催し
So
の
is
準
this
備
one of those festivities to liven up the party that you mentioned?
ラムダたちはクイ
Well,
ズ
it
大
looked
会
like
で
you were having a
楽しく
blast
盛
with
り上
that
がって
quiz
たの
tournament.
ね
So I decided I wanted to join in.
エンジェは
And you chose to
そ
hold
の
Angie
人質の
hostage
つ
for
もり
that
というわ
purpose.
けか。
そういうこ
You've
と
got it.
バトラ
Battler,
Bea-
Beato.
あなたたちにゲ
I want
ー
to
ムを
challenge
挑
you
みたい
to a
の
game.
拒否権はな
You
いわ
cannot refuse.
エンジが大
Not
事な
if you
妹
treasure
なの
Angie
ね
as a little sister, that is.
何が望みだ
What do you want?
あんたとベアトを巡
Lambda
るゲ
and I
ー
made
ム
a
で
bet about the game
私は
between
ラ
you
ムダ
and
と賭けを
Beato.
していたそれには私は
I
負
must
けたことを
acknowledge
認
that
め
I've
なくてはならない
lost.
少なくと
At
も
least that I've lost to Lambda.
ね
Burn dress act all dry, but she's way more persistent than she looks.
つまりこういうことでし
So,
ょ
you're saying you lost to me,
私には
but
負
not
け
to
たけど
Battler and Beato?
バトラやベアトに負けたわけじゃない
It seemed as though Burncastle might smile. However, she didn't. Those cold eyes spoke without words. Battler understood. He had played so many games against Beato. Those games had been a wordless message from Beato. So he knew. He understood.
俺たちと勝負した
She wants to fight us.
そういうことか
Is that it?
恐ろしい敵であ
She
る
will be a fearsome opponent.
だが引けない
But we can't back out.
分かってお
I
る
know that.
エンジェ
We mustn't let
を
Angie
ベル
become
カ
Lady
ステル卿
Burncastle's
のおもちゃに
plaything.
させるわけにはいかぬ
Beato understood as well. She understood why Burncastle was asking for one final battle.
ベルンが正
I
々堂々
never thought I'd see Burn fighting openly like this.
笑
Do you find that funny?
どうして
Why would I?
えありがと
Thanks. Lambda Delta understood as well. Before the tale of Battler and Beato ended, before everything was locked away in the cat box, Burncastle would finally move from the audience to the stage. That witch who had hidden off to the side of the stage, unwilling to come out into the light, would now show that she had the courage to step forward onto the stage itself. As a friend, Lambda Delta showed that she understood Burncastle's human emotions, which had given her this courage.
私にできることは
Is there anything I can do?
う私のゲームの
Please
立
act
ち会
as
い
an
人
observer
を
for my game.
いいわよ
Sure.
そのゲー
If
ムに
you
参
promise
加
that
した
you'll
ら
release Angie if you
エン
take
ジ
part
を
in your
解
game,
放す
that
る
is.
ことを約束できるならね
当然であ
Of
る
course.
その約束
Without
が
such
な
a
いなら
promise, we
ば
aren't obligated to go
そなた
along
の
with this
茶番に
farce in
付
any
き合う
way.
義理などない
義理はないけど
You may not owe me
エンジ
anything,
は戻らない
but
わ
you'll never see Angie again.
ならばそ
In
な
that
たは
case, you can enjoy being branded a loser for the next
数
few
百年
centuries.
間のんびり楽しむこととなろうぞ
Beato, don't provoke her.
引けない勝負だ
This isn't a fight we can back down from.
No.
Indeed. Now that a hostage had been taken, their ability to negotiate had disappeared. However, Lambda Delta was agreeing to become an observer, as that would make Burncastle promise to release Angie. Unless she held Burncastle to a promise like that, the latter would have nothing to lose. To make this final fight, Burncastle wanted a proper one. Lambda Delta made her agree to this.
無論よラ
Of
ム
course, Lambda.
約束する
I
わ
promise.
ゲームが終わっ
When the game ends,
た
I'll
エンジ
release
は解
Angie.
放する
私の
Don't
顔に
make a
泥
fool
を
of
塗
me.
らないでよ
Okay?
私
When I get shamed,
書かされ
I
た
never let
口
go
を
of the one who
絶対
did it
に
until
相
they
手を後
regret it.
悔させるまで許さないんだか
Lambda Delta spoke in a soft, threatening tone. However, Berncastle laughed lightly as though the look on Lambda Delta's face was merely cute. The look.
誓うわ
I swear it.
私たちの
I
友情
swear
に
it on our
かけて
friendship.
ヒュー
Lambda Delta whistled and grinned. Apparently, this was the most reliable oath Berncastle could utter. Is it?
わかった
Okay. Lambda Delta nodded, looked between Battler and Berncastle, and spoke.
絶対の魔
By
女
the name of Lambda
ラムダ
Delta,
デルの名において
Witch of Certainty,
あんた
I
たちの
accept
勝
the
負の
role of
立ち会いに
observer for
よ
your
ろしく
fight.
バトラー
Battler, Beato,
異存は
you
ない
have no
わよね
objections, right? Battler and Beato nodded at each other, then nodded at Lambda Delta to show their determination.
嬉しいわ
I'm so glad.
やっと
We
私たち
finally
は
get to
戦
fight
え
each
る
other.
のね
いずれ
I had a feeling
お
I'd
前
end
と
up
は
fighting
戦
you
うことに
sooner
な
or
ると予
later.
感していた
いつから
Since when?
わからない
I'm not sure.
ひょっとしたら
Might have been before I even learned
お
your
前の名
name.
を知るよりももっと前からかもしれない
Battler vaguely remembered her speaking to him, somewhere in an unconscious world he couldn't recall. At the time, it had sounded like she was giving him advice for his fight with Beato. But, thinking back on it, there was a bit more to it than that. She might have been a cat fighting from the sidelines, too scared to go out into the burning sunlight. So, I had a vague premonition that, eventually, we would stand opposed to each other on the game board in some way.
こいつも
She was also one of the players.
ゲーム版を
Now,
片付け
at the
る
very
最
end,
後の最後で
as the game board is being put away,
こいつはやっと
she's finally found the courage to step up onto the stage.
俺は
I'd like
そ
to
の勇
accept
気
your
ある
brave
決闘の
challenge
申し出をお前の駒だ
in the name of that courageous girl who
あ
was
の
once
勇
your
敢な
piece.
女の名にかけてな
私はエリカに決
I
闘を押し
forced
付け
Erica
た
to fight a duel.
勝ちたかっ
I wanted to win,
たそれ以上に
and
負け
even
た
more
くなかっ
strongly, I didn't want to lose.
た敗北の味を知
The
るか
fear
も
of
しれない
possibly
恐
tasting
怖
defeat
私は
tormented me.
災難だそして
And
今
thinking
にして
back
思
on
う
it,
と
I envied
あ
you
の
two
時のあ
back
んた
then.
たちに私は嫉妬していたんだわ
エリカはお前の
Erica
優
was
秀
a
な
great
駒
piece
だ
of yours, and my
俺の
rival.
好敵手だったその最
I
後を
won't
見取ら
forgive
ず
you for abandoning her in the end and
暴
burying
虐の
her in
深
the
淵に
depths
葬
of
ったお前
oblivion.
を俺は
どうしろというの
Just what do you want me to do?
エリカに謝る
Apologize to Erica?
エリカを暴虐の
Save
深淵か
Erica
ら
from
救
the
え
depths of oblivion
そしてこのパー
and
ティ
invite
ー
her
に
to
招
this party.
エリカ
Save
を救え
Erica?
わらわもバト
I
ラに
feel
同
the
じだ
sate as Battler.
あやつは敵
She was
方
a
の
piece who
駒
stood
な
in
りだ
opposition to us,
その役
but she
割
was
に
only
忠実
faithfully
であったり
fulfilling
す
her
る
role.
好敵手な
There
く
can
して
be no game
ゲ
without
ー
a
ムは
rival.
成立せん敵であることは
She remains our enemy, but she's
我
also
ら
an
の
important
大切
friend
な
to
友
us.
人だ
あれだけ
Even
あ
though
ん
she
た
made
たち
you
を
suffer
苦し
so
めたの
much.
に
俺たちはフェ
We
アに
fought
戦
a
っ
fair
た
fight.
勝敗が互いの運
The
命を
outcome may
分
have
けた
changed our fates, but now that we've dueled each other, we'll always
ず
be
っと友
friends.
人だ
ベルも友人に
You
な
want
り
to
た
be
い
their
の
friend
に
too, don't you, Burn?
だからベルも
That's why you want a
ベ
fair
ルと
fight
戦
with
い
them
たくな
now,
ったんでしょ
isn't it?
笑え
Are you laughing at me?
笑わぬ
We aren't.
むしろ歓
On the
迎だ
contrary, we welcome it,
人質を取ってるの
even though I've taken a hostage.
取らなきゃ
If you didn't,
お前
you
は舞
probably
台に
wouldn't
出
have
ら
been
れな
able
かっ
to
たん
come
だ
up
ろ
onto the stage. There had been no need to take a hostage. Battler and Beato had been more than willing to accept this final duel if Berncastle wished it. It is hard to make out anything from Berncastle's silent expression.
いいわ
Fine.
何が
What's fine?
エリカを信
I'll
頼
release Erica from the
解
depths.
放するわ
I'm glad you decided to do
よ
this.
く決意したな
For someone as proud as Berncastle, forgiving the piece who had caused her defeat should have been nearly unbearable. Battler knew this, so he realized how much this bit of compassion had cost Berncastle. I got doubts. Berncastle snapped her fingers, and a black cat slipped out of her shadow.
深淵の奥
I
底
tossed
に
her all the
存
way
在に
into the
放り投げ
deepest
たら
parts of
到
oblivion.
着は遅れる
It
かも
might
しれ
take
な
her
い
a while to get here.
構わぬ
It matters not.
料理も
There's
酒
no
も
danger of the food
決
and
して
drink
尽きる
running
こ
out.
とはないのだから
おゆき
Go,
子猫
kitty.
あの子をここに
Guide
案
that
内
kid
します
here. When she gave this order, the cat melted into the darkness, its bell jingling.
まさか
Hard to
あんた
believe
が
that
エ
you'd
リカを
forgive
許す
Erica.
なんてね。
許す気はな
I
い
don't plan on forgiving her,
だからも
so
う
she's
私
not
の
my
子もじ
piece
ゃない
anymore.
誰かが拾え
Anyone
ば
feel like picking her up?
あんただって
After all,
リ
you
オ
already
た
picked
ちを
up
拾った
Leon
わ
and
け
Will.
だし
ベルンカステ
Burn Castle.
ル感謝する
You have my thanks.
じゃ
Okay,
あ甘ったるい時
enough
間
with
は
the
これくらい
sentimentality.
ですでに私には
I've already had as much as I can bear.
いいぜ
Sure.
ゲームはどこでする
Finally, no more organs. That organ stuff is okay for certain things, but it's very out of place here. Sure. Where will he have the game?
ここで賑やかにでも
As far as I care,
静か
we
ない
could
つ
have
も
it
の
here
場所で
with
も
all the noise, or in the
どこでも
usual
構わ
quiet
ない
spot.
ベルンカステル教が
Lady Burncastle
こ
has
れほ
already
どの
shown
大
that she
勢
has the
の前
courage
に
to stand
姿を
before a
現
great
す
many
勇気を
people.
見せたのだこれ以上
There is no point in making her suffer any longer.
そう
This
だ
all
な
seems really weird. Good point.
ならば
Then
い
let's
つ
go
も
to
の
the
あの場
usual
所しか
place.
ないだろうぜ
ベル問題ない
Any objections, Burn?
ないわ
None.
ごめんね
Sorry,
パーティーのみんな
partygoers.
私たちはちょ
We'll
っと
be
失
heading out for a
敬
bit,
するけれど
but please continue
みん
to
なも
enjoy
引き続
yourselves.
き楽しんでいてゼパル
Zippa,
フル
Furfur,
あんたたちが盛り上げ
liven
てね
this place up.
エリカが来た
When
ら
Erica
みんな
gets
で
here,
歓
let's
迎
have
してあ
everyone
げ
give
て
her a warm welcome. Yes, Lady Lamdekelta. Your wish is our command.
では招
Now
こう
then,
ぞ
let us take her to the usual
我らが思考を
room.
巡らして戦
A
う
fitting
にふさ
place
わ
for our
しい
battle of wits.
いつものあの
Hey,
部
Juicy.
屋へ
Welcome, welcome. Burncastle joined the party, which is still very odd. When Battler snapped his fingers, space shattered. They were now in the smoking room of the witches, the place where witches had once debated, schemed, and reasoned all they could. Burncastle had been invited there once again, and the final game would now begin.
ゲームの用意はあるのか
Do you have a game prepared?
もちろん
Of course.
じっくり
I
と作
worked
り上
hard on
げ
this
た
game. I'm
自
pretty
信
proud
作
of
の
it.
ゲームよ
ゲームマスター
So,
がベルンで
Burn will be the
バト
game
ラとベ
master,
アとはプレイヤーとい
and
うこと
Battler
ね
and Beato will be the players.
ベルンが殺人ゲーム
Will
の
it be a
物語
normal
を
game
語
where
り
Burn creates a murder
プレイヤ
tale
ー
and
の
the two
二人は
players have to
人間
reconstruct
の
it
トリ
with
ック
human
で
tricks?
再構築できるかを挑むいつもの
ベルンカステ
I'm
ル教の
interested
描
to
く
see
シナ
what
リオ
sort
が
of
どのよ
scenario
うな
Lady
ものか
Burncastle
興
develops.
味があるぞ
俺たちが青き
We'll
真実を
explain
指
things
摘
with
し
the blue truth, and you'll knock
お
those
前が
down
赤
with
き
the red
真実で
truth.
そのルールで問題
Are
な
we
い
okay with those rules?
私のゲームは
My game will be a
もっとシン
simpler
プルよ
one.
ただの犯
It's
人
just a
だけ
quiz of guessing the culprit.
あんたたちと
I don't feel like
赤や
trading
ら青
red
や
and
ら
blue
の
with
攻
you.
防をやるつもりはないの
へえ
Oh?
それってどん
What
な
kind of
ゲー
game
ム
will that be?
先に見せて
Would
も
you
らって
mind
もい
letting me
い
have a look at it first? Burncastle held her palm upwards, and a palely glowing fragment appeared there. Lambda Delta brushed it with her hand and shut her eyes.
ね
See?
簡単なゲーム
It's
で
a
しょ
simple game, isn't it?
確かに
You're right.
これはバトラた
It's
ちが
much
や
more
っていた
straightforward
思
than
考
the
ゲー
mind
ムに
games
比べ
these
た
two
ら
played in the
はるか
past.
に単純だこれはもはや
This isn't even a
まさ
game
か
about
人
witches
間
and
のゲーム
humans
じゃない
anymore.
そうよ
That's right.
これはもは
This is a game about
人
humans.
間のゲーム
驚いたわ
What a surprise.
ベアトというファ
The
ン
game
タ
Burn
ジーと
created
戦う
to
た
combat
めに
Beato's
ベル
fantasy
ンが用意したゲ
is
ー
a
ムが
genuine mystery.
純粋なミステリーだったなんてね
説明してくれ
Please explain.
極めてシンプル
It's
よ
extremely simple.
ベルンの用意し
You'll
た物
watch
語
the tale
を
Burn
感
has
激する
prepared for you.
その中には
There
い
are
くつかの
several
ル
rules
ール
to
が
it,
あるけれど
but if you follow them as
そ
you
れに
read
従
it
って
through,
読み解くこ
it'll
と
lead
で
you to a single
未
truth.
知なる真実
In other words, an
すなわ
answer.
ち回答が得られ
つまり
So, it's
普
an
通
ordinary
に
mystery novel?
推理小説だってことなのか
なるほど
I see.
となれば
In that case,
赤と
there's
青
no
の
need
真
for
実の
combat
つ
between
ばぜ
red
り合
and
いな
blue
ど
truth.
もはや不要ということか
In Beato's games, the argument had been about whether the story was a mystery or not. However, Berncastle's game was a mystery. There's no need to argue over that from the start.
動機もトリックも
I've
切り捨
even
て
cut out the motive and the tricks.
あんたたちに求
There's
め
only
る答
one
えは
question I'm
たった
asking
一
you.
点。
フーダニッ
Who done it?
なんと
What a
単
simple
純
yet fitting game to
これ
conclude
以
our
上な
fight.
いほどに我らの決着に
トそうだな
Yeah. No
何
cheap
の
tricks.
小ざストイックな
Just
ま
a
で
stoically simple
シンプル
game. You guys are overhyping
これ
this.
は
This
正
is
真
a
正
genuine
銘の
duel.
決闘である
立会人と
As
し
the
て宣
observer,
言する
I'll
わ
say this.
このゲームは
This
解け
game
る
is
ように
made
で
to
き
be
ている
solvable.
つまり
In other words,
あんたた
I
ちの
guarantee
決闘
that's
の舞
the
台と
suitable
して
setting for your
公
duel.
平であることを保証すベル
Mern,
これは
I
老
know
婆
I
心
keep
だ
on
けど
saying this,
本当にいいの
but are you really sure?
バトラとベア
Battler and
ミ
Beto's
ステリー好
relationship
きで
started
交際
because
を
they
始め
both
たの
loved mystery.
私には
I agree it's
よ
a
く
pretty
ひねった
trick
シナリオだ
scenario,
とは思え
pretty
るけれ
tricky
ど
scenario.
この
I'm
二
not
人
sure
の
it'll be
通用
enough
す
to
る
stop
か
these
ちょ
two.
っとわからないのよ
私の精一
If my
杯
best
シナリ
tale
オ
can't
が
stop
通用
them,
しないな
then what comes will
らそ
come.
の時はその時よ
大事なのは
The important
ベル
thing
ン
is
カス
that
テ
Lady
ル島が
Berncastle
渾
put
身
everything
の
she
力
had
で
into
描
this
いたゲ
game.
ームであることだ
そうだな
You're right.
それが俺たちに
Will that
通
be
じる
enough
か
to
どうか
stump us?
ただそれだけだ
That's all this
シ
simple
ンプルな
game is
ゲームだ
about.
ラムだ
Thanks,
ありがとう
Lambda.
お前のおかげで
Thanks to you.
この決
We
闘
know
が
that
正
this
々
duel
堂
will
々と
be
し
a
たも
fair
のである
fight.
ことが証明された
どういたしまして
You're welcome.
私も嬉しい
I'm
わ
happy too.
ベルンが挑む
It'd
と
be
い
an
う
honor
こ
to
の
witness
貴重
Bern
な
fighting
戦い
this
に立ち会わせ
precious
てもらえ
fight.
るなんて光栄よ
そなたを対戦
I'm
相
also
手に
honored to
迎えら
have you
れ
as an opponent.
わらはもう光栄
私もよ
Same here.
あんたを見下し
I
て
underestimated you,
勝負の場に
and
で
I
も
did
せ
it
ずに
without even stepping into the battlefield with you.
そんな
Just
それ
thinking
まで
about
の
it
自
makes me
分
want
に
to
虫が
vomit.
走るだか
So
ら
let me
決闘さ
fight.
せて
Indeed.
だ受けて立とう
Show us what you've got.
私が勝ったら
If I win,
今度こ
I'll
そ
be
あ
able
ん
to
た
look
を
down
思
on
い
you
っきり
for
見
real
下
this
してあげ
time.
るそしてもし
And if I lose,
私がきっと
I'll
忘れ
surely
てい
be
る
reminded of the
違い
emotion I knew I'd
あの
forgotten.
感情を思い出させて
Indeed.
ベルンカステル
Berncastle.
お前が勝とうと
Whether you
負
end
けよ
up
うと
winning or losing, I promise you
これだ
one
けは
thing.
約束する
何
What's that?
この決闘が
When
終わ
this
ったら
duel is over,
俺たちは
we'll
友
be
人だ
friends.
これ以上はや
Enough
め
of that, please.
くすぐったく
The sentimentality is killing me. I can do it, huh? Well, I will most definitely give it a shot. Lambda clapped her hands. A pleasant sound rang out.
朗読はベ
Will
ルン
you
が
be the reader, Bern?
それとも
Or
私
shall
が
I
引
do
き
that?
受けようかしら
朗読者は不
I
要
don't need a reader.
朗読の巫
A
女
reader
は
Miko can
自
use
分
her
の
own
口を
voice
通
to
して
embellish or
物語
distort
を
the tale.
脚色することもたとえ私の
Even if
ゲ
there
ームに
was no
小細
cheap
工が
trickery in
な
my
くて
game,
も朗
by
読
having a
の
reader,
術で
any
いく
amount
ら
of
でも
trickery
それ
could
を
be
する
added.
ことができる
そうであるな
Yes, that is true.
それもまた
That's
ゲーム
another
マ
of
ス
the
タ
Game
ーの
Master's
権利の一
privileges.
つ
あんたたちとしたい決
I
闘
want to
は
have a
シ
straightforward
ンプル
duel
であ
with
り
you,
たいのだから
so
朗読者
I
は
don't
い
need
ら
a
ない
reader.
あなたたち
You
が
can read this tale with
自
your
ら
own
の目
eyes
と
and
耳
ears.
で物語を読み
Are you sure?
それじゃベ
That
ルンに有
means
利な
you've
ことがな
lost
くなっ
almost
ちゃ
all
う
of
じゃ
your
ない
advantages.
分かった
Understood?
朗読者はいらな
You
い
don't need a reader.
俺たちが自分で
We'll read the tale
物語を
ourselves.
読む
朗読者がい
If
な
there
い
is
と
no
いう
reader,
ことは
does that mean there will be absolutely no falsehoods contained in the narrated text?
一切の虚偽が
受けて立つぞ
We're ready,
ベルンカステル
Berncastle.
何の小細工もない正真正銘
A
の
showdown over
ミステリ
genuine
ー一
mystery,
騎打ち
without any cheap tricks.
お前の正
If
々
you're gonna
堂
play
々
fair and square,
俺
we'll
たちの
challenge you
正
head
面
on
から受
too.
け止めてやれ
ありがと
Thank
う
you.
負けないわよ
I don't plan on losing either. No, no,
そ
no.
れではダ
That's
メ
no
である
good,
な
Lady Byrne.
ベルン教
Hmm?
ああ
She's
そう
right.
ミステリーを突き
If
つけ
you're a
る
witch
魔女は
challenging us with a mystery,
そんな
you
態
can't
度
have an
ダメ
attitude
だ
like that. Yeah, it's all useless.
全然ダメだな
Berncastle, realizing what Battler and Beato were asking for, snorted. Lambda Delta nodded at her, telling her to enjoy this final duel to the fullest. What were you expecting? A happy mystery chat between humans and witches? Come on, don't make me laugh. Let's see if your cheery mysteries are any match for the one I've prepared. Let's see what you've got. We wouldn't have it any other way. Yes, we'll accept your challenge, Lady Burncastle, Witch of Miracles. I don't? Oh, always trying to be prepared. Alright, time to start. I, Game Master Shimura Battler, and Beatrice, the Endless Witch, will be your opponents. Don't start crying when we wipe the floor with you. Take this. Here's my mystery. Burncastle took a fragment containing the game and smashed it against the table, shattering with bright, brilliant light as the game's scenario laid itself out. The curtain rose on the mystery Burncastle had created. Alright. Well, I can still take notes. No sound but that of the falling rain filled the room. It covered the tragic scene in the bloody dining hall. I'm guessing this is the mystery. Try not to use the clues. Right, the hints and stuff, I guess. At some point, Angie had fainted and fallen to the floor. Now her consciousness was slowly returning, forcing her to remember what had happened in this room. Oh yeah, absolutely, that's what I've been trying to do the whole time here. Failing most of the time, but that's what I've been doing. So, she reflexively averted her gaze even before the memory overtook her. 6 bodies lay in the blood-stained dining hall. Strangely enough, as her consciousness returned bit by bit, the terrifying scene before her seemed somehow less intense. This time, Angie was able to look at the 6 corpses well enough to make out who they were. First, those 2 are my own parents. Their pitiful sight colored bright by red, by a bloody makeup, and lying next to them are Uncle Hideyoshi and Aunt Eva. Uncle Hideyoshi, the uncle who always says funny things and makes me laugh, and Aunt Eva, the one who seems to be so fond of me. Genji-san, the servant, lying over there. And the one lying right there is Aunt Rosa. 6 people. A full 6 people had their lives taken from them and are lying in this room. Maybe I cried myself out before I fell unconscious. The scene before me was still terribly painful, but I was somehow able to look at it without losing my head. I'd already felt all the sadness I could at my parents' deaths. The next emotion that rose up inside me was the desire to check and see that everyone else was okay. In that instant, I heard a scraping sound. Just as I was about to relax again, thinking I must have imagined it, I heard the same sound again. It was probably coming from the door. Someone was clawing at the door from the outside. Of course, I had no way of knowing who it was. However, for some reason, I was sure that it was that black cat scratching at the door. The black cat was telling me to leave this room. I understood and put my hand on the doorknob. I immediately noticed something odd. The door was locked. The same bad feeling I'd felt after being locked in the parlor crawled up my spine. However, unlike the time in the parlor, this door unlocked itself easily when I turned the knob. I unlocked it and slowly opened the door. Beyond the door, I could see the dimly lit hallway, and a cat dashing down it away from me. Then it stopped, its emerald eyes glittering in the darkness, as though it was waiting for me to follow. The hallway was dark, and wrapped in an eerie silence. When the black cat saw that I was coming, it walked forward as if guiding me. I could hear nothing except the creaking of the floor, the bell of the cat, and the sound of the storm outside. The party's being held in the hall. I should be able to hear at least a little of the noise from this hallway.
私が食堂で
Maybe
意
it
識
got
を
really
失っ
late
て
when
る
I
間
was
に
unconscious in the dining hall.
深夜になっちゃったのかな。
It was a reasonable conclusion. Then we finally reached the main hall. The hall was frigid, and no trace of that party remained. Could all of that fun have been just an illusion? The black cat's bell rang out. When I looked up, I saw that it had its feet on the stairway to the second floor, urging me to follow it.
2階に行くの？
Are you going to the second floor? The black cat seemed to nod, then silently went up the stairs. Guests were allowed to go wherever they wanted on the first floor, but the second floor was Krause's family's house, and I remembered getting in trouble for trying to go up there. However, at that moment, I couldn't think of any options other than following that cat. Walked along the dark hallway with the black cat. Eventually, we reached one of the doors. The black cat scratched at the door, then turned to look at me. Must have been telling me to open it.
うん。
Okay,
開けるね。
I'll open it for you. I put my hand on the doorknob and felt the resistance of a lock again. This door is locked. I turned around to tell the cat this, but inexplicably, a single key lay right in front of the cat. Angie picked it up and stuck it in the keyhole. As she did, she finally noticed something strange with her fingertips. Blood. Somehow, Angie's fingertips had been stained red with blood. She let out a short cry, and the key slipped out and fell to the ground. She finally realized. In the darkness, she hadn't noticed before. The black cat's key was covered with blood. The emotions that had gone numb in Angie sprang back. A terrified scream rang out through the dark hallway. Even so, Angie would eventually open that door. That door led to Natsuhi's room. Natsuhi's room was a terrible mess. Blankets and sheets were torn. Cosmetics and books lay all over the place, as though a typhoon had just ripped through it. And there were corpses. Krause and Natsuhi's corpses lay sprawled on the floor. Very shortly, Angie will step into this room. She will then scream in terror once more. And it isn't limited to the dining hall in Natsuhi's room. In the stormy rose garden, Shannon's treasured corpse lies exposed. Partway down the path to the rose garden is Jessica's corpse. When Angie finds that, she'll probably dash crying and screaming into the guest house. And death awaits her inside the guest house as well. And just inside the front door is Nanjo's corpse. In the servant room nearby, even Gode and Kumasawa lie dead. The total number of corpses is 13. Full 13 corpses are waiting for Angie. They wait in the mansion in the guest house on the desolate Rakunjima. For Angie, exposed to the wind and rain, and tormented by thunder to find them. Umineko no Naku Koro Nichiro, Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. The first Twilight. Tragedy of the first Twilight was discovered at 6 in the morning on the following day. Goda, who had woken up to get breakfast ready, went to check on the adult siblings, who had remained in the dining hall since the previous night because of the family conference.
死体発見時のこと話して
Tell us about when you discovered the crime.
食堂は施錠されていました。
Purple. The dining hall was locked up. Of course, there's a lock on the doors to the dining hall, but they usually remained unlocked. I knocked, but there was no answer. That's when I arrived. I recommend that he try unlocking the door, just in case. When I unlocked the door with a master key, a terrifying sight waited me inside. Miba-sama, Hideyoshi-sama, Rudolph-sama, Kiri-sama, Rosa-sama, and Genji-sama. 6 people in all were lying there, covered in blood. A great tumult followed. Everyone gathered in the dining hall. I don't want to remember it. The sight of all the sobbing children crouched over the corpses of their own parents. There was a chance they might have been alive still. Everyone was shaking them desperately. But it was no use. Each of the children confirmed the deaths of their own parents. Dr. Nanjo and I confirmed that Genji-sama was dead. Such a gruesome way to be killed. No one is going to mistakenly confirm a death, even those other than myself. It looks like all of the victims died instantly. After inspecting the interior of the dining hall, we determined that all of the doors and windows had been locked, making it a closed room. And nothing suspicious was found inside the dining hall. Of course, there was no one hiding in the dining hall either. Naturally, all of us are here right now. It's clear that no one is hiding. I try. But Dad, that's true, it doesn't make sense. 6 people were killed, and the dining hall is a closed room. How could someone have killed them and escaped? I'd rather not think of it, but perhaps the servants with their master keys are the most suspicious. They killed the 6, then left and locked the door with their master keys. It is a logical theory. First one by default. That's absurd. Since there was no chance of the culprit hiding inside the dining hall, it made sense to assume that the culprit locked the door after committing the murder and exiting the room. It is only natural that the servants, with their master keys, would fall under suspicion. And, sadly enough, none of the servants had an alibi. Then again, it wasn't only the servants. Everyone else lacked an alibi as well. Is there any way to lock it up from the outside without a master key? No, there isn't. That's not enough. I'll say it with a red truth. All doors can only be locked or unlocked with a master key. Of course, it is possible to lock or unlock the doors from inside the room, even without a master key. There you have it. Any other questions? Shouldn't there be keys to each individual room in addition to the master keys? Normally, those would exist. However, they make the game more complicated, so I've eliminated them. Red truth. We'll consider master keys to be the only keys that exist. In other words, all of the locks that appear in this game can only be locked or unlocked by master keys. That's what she just said. That's what it means. It really is a simple game. In that case, we should now check the number of master keys and who holds them. There are 5 master keys total. 1 is held by each of the 5 servants. Give me a sec. Genji, Goda, Kurosawa, Cannon, and Shannon? But are we still going by the rules that the same person The keys will be managed in a special way.
マスターキーは常に
The
身につけら
servants
れ
keep
た
master
もの
keys on their person at all times,
譲
so
渡
it
す
is
ること
impossible
も
for them to be
自分
stolen,
以外
handed
の
over,
人間が使
or
用す
used
る
by
こと
any
も
human
できない
other than themselves.
なんだそれ。
What the heck?
それはもはや
Now they're sounding less like keys and more like a
指紋認
fingerprinting
証システ
system.
ムみたいなもんだな。
面白
Well,
い
that's an
例え
interesting metaphor.
つまり
In other words,
このゲームの
in
世
the
界
world of this game,
Master
it isn't
key
the master
云々ではなく
keys, but the 5 servants
使用人
themselves
5
that
人
can
にしか
unlock or unlock
開
doors.
閉はできぬというわけだ
Alright, that changes things up a bit.
源氏さんのマスターキーを回収
We
しよ
tried
う
to
とした
retrieve
もの
Genji-san's master key,
どうにもな
but
ら
had
な
no
かっ
luck. Alright, still gonna do it though.
後のトラブルを予防するため
To guard against
源
trouble
氏のマスタ
later
ー
on,
キーを破
we
壊して
destroyed
おきまし
Genji's
た
master key. This was the crime of the first Twilight. Give me a second, actually. We tried to retrieve Genji-san's master key, but had no luck. To guard against trouble later on, we destroyed Genji's master key. So, they couldn't get to it, so they just destroyed it. Is what I'm understanding it as. Notes do help you keep your thoughts going. Keep going on the right train. This was the crime of the first Twilight. The scene was the locked closed room of the dining hall. None of the servants holding master keys have alibis. Then again, no one else has an alibi either. Dawn of the second Twilight. 24 hours, 48 hours remain. Everyone returned to the parlor to discuss what should be done next. The phones were out, so they couldn't contact the police. Was a mysterious culprit hiding away somewhere, planning to attack their next victim at this very moment? Or was the culprit in here with them, mentally sticking out their tongue and tasting their next prey? None of them had alibis, and any one of them could have been a culprit. However, that tense feeling didn't last long. By midday, everyone got tired of arguing, and they decided to take a break. Kraus and Natsuya announced that they wanted to talk with each other alone and went up to the second floor. That was the beginning, and after that, everyone went their separate ways, now and then, led just to head to the bathroom or gaze at the endless rain. However, no matter how much time passed, Kraus and Natsuya were the ones who didn't return. Calls were sent to both Kraus and Natsuhi's room using the extension phone line, but there was no answer. Something might have happened. Everyone headed to Kraus's and Natsuhi's rooms together, and in Natsuhi's room they found Kraus and Natsuhi lying sprawled on the floor. Madam's room was locked. It's just like the dining hall.
皆さんの許可を
After getting everyone's permission, I unlocked the door.
部屋の中には
Kraus-sama and niece Natsuhi-sama lay sprawled on the floor inside the room.
南條先生が
Dr. Nanjo
すぐ
checked their
に
pulse.
脈を取ったとして
Then he announced that the two of them had died instantly.
宣言した
はい
Correct.
私が
I
二人の
confirmed
死亡を
both of their
確
deaths.
認しました。あれは間違い
There
な
can
く
be no doubt that they died instantly.
私は
I
何か
searched all
の
over
手
the
がかりが
room,
ないか
looking
部
for
屋
a clue.
中その結果
In the end,
窓も
I
扉
found
も
that the
完
windows
全
and
に
the
施
doors
錠さ
had
れてい
all
て
been locked,
密室だったことが
making
分
it a
かっ
closed
た
room.
またしても密室
Another closed room.
またしてもマ
We
スター
servants
キ
all
ー
have
を持
master
つ
keys,
私
so we'll
た
be
ちが
suspected
疑
again.
われることに
しかしご
But
安
have
心
no
を
fear.
奥様に
Our
疑
from
われ
Dam
てい
began
た
to
私た
suspect
ち
us,
は
we started keeping an eye on
互い
each
を見
other.
張り合っていたのです。
私たち使
All
用
of
人
us
全
servants
員
were
は
together the whole
常
time.
に一緒におりました
僕たち使
All
用
of us
人全
servants
員
can prove an alibi for all of
そ
the
れ
other
ぞれの
servants.
使用人全員のアリバイを証明できます。
こりゃ面白い
Now that's interesting.
今度はさらに完
So you're
璧な
saying
密
that
室
this
だって
closed
言い
room
たい
is
の
even more complete.
最初の密室
In
に
the
は
case of the first closed room, no one had an alibi.
そして今度
So,
の密
for
室
this
には
closed room, all of
全
them
員に
have
アリバイ
alibis.
があることになっているこの世界
In
では
this world, the servants
使用人
themselves
たちそのものが
become living master
生きた
keys.
その使用人たちの
Since
ア
those
リバイが
servants had
完
perfect
璧である
alibis,
以
it
上
was impossible to lock
ナチ
Natsuhi's
の部屋
room.
の施錠は不可能です
僕たちは現場を保
We
全すること
decided
に
to
した
preserve the crime scene as it was.
外から
We
ガム
put
テープ
packing
で
tape
ベタ
all
ベ
over the
タと
outside of the door and
窓
windows,
や扉を
sealing them.
封印したよ
I'm sure the culprit left some sort of clue in this room. We made sure that no one would be able to enter or leave until the police arrived. Then we did the same to the dining hall. We also sealed the dining hall in the same way. We reached the conclusion that the entire mansion itself should be preserved. We also sealed the mansion itself, and all of us took refuge in the guest house. They sealed the whole mansion? Packing tape on all the windows? They even used a ladder for the windows on the 3rd floor? The game would get complicated otherwise, so I've simplified it. All of the windows had steel bars on them, so it's impossible to enter or leave by them. Therefore, we'll say that they can seal the whole mansion by sealing the 2 doors, the front one and the back one. Got it. That makes it easy. What do you think? Actually, killing the 2 people in Natsuhi's room would be easy. Someone just had to knock and get them to open the door. However, they couldn't lock it afterwards. The servants can lock doors, but all the servants have alibis. Unless the servants are all in it together. More importantly, the first Twilight has me suspicious. You think that one of the 6 who died in the dining hall was actually alive and committed the crime? It's because of Erika. I can't help but be suspicious when people are examining corpses. So, you think that one of the first 6 victims was alive? Yeah. And afterwards, they killed Kraus and Natsuhi. Then they locked the door from the inside, hid inside the room, and found a good chance to escape. That theory does make logical sense. I'll say it in red. The culprit of the first Twilight really did kill 6 people. Then I'll take a shot with the blue truth. Here is the true nature of this closed room. The culprit locked the door from the inside, then hid in Natsuhi's room. Culprit locked the door from the inside, then hid in Natsuhi's room. Then, after everyone left, they found an opportunity to escape. Sure, I'll deny that in red. The group sealed the room at the same time they left. No culprit joined the group as they left. Also, all of the seals to Natsuhi's room, the dining hall, and the mansion itself will not be broken. In other words, you can't use that trick where they hide under the bed and slip out later. Interesting. Nice going, Burncastle. Thanks. Killed 6 people. I think that's important. This was the crime of the second Twilight. The scene was Natsuhi's room, a locked, closed room. This time, all the servants with their master keys have an alibi. The whole group, realizing the danger of being inside the mansion, took shelter in the guest house. Dawn of the 4th Twilight. No hours remain. All those who took refuge in the guest house decided to hole up in there until the typhoon passed. There, if everyone watched everyone else, they should be able to prevent further crimes, both from inside and outside. However, they wouldn't be able to keep it up without any breaks until the typhoon passed. Once again, their actions left the weak point open, and they were faced with yet another tragedy. Shannon-chan and Ken-kun went outside on an errand and still haven't come back. George Nissan got upset, so we all went outside to look for them. We found Shannon-chan lying there in the rose garden. Oh, poor Shannon-chan. I prayed she was still alive. However, I was forced to acknowledge that she was dead. Of course, I also examined her and confirmed her death. When the 2 of them left, we were busy checking the locks around the guest house. So, not one of us has an alibi. Me? Kill her? How could I have killed her? That's right. George and Nichan couldn't kill her. Oh. Later on, we learned that George Nissan alone had an alibi. At the very least, George Nissan couldn't possibly have killed Shannon.
逆に言えば
To turn it around,
ジョージの兄貴
anyone other than George Henneke could have killed her.
誰にでも殺したわけだ
犯人に悪用
To
され
prevent
る
the
のを
culprit
防
from
ぐ
using
ため
it for any mischief,
シャノン
we
さん
destroyed the
が持
master
って
key
たマスター
Shannon's
キーは
son had on the
その場
spot.
で破壊しました
シャノンが殺さ
At
れ
the
る
time Shannon is killed, Cannon goes missing forever. From now on, Cannon is treated as being killed. Also, Cannon's master key is treated as being destroyed. No, I thought it'd be rude, so I kept quiet about it. But that's what happens when Shannon dies.
つまり
In other words,
死体は
we
なく
can interpret this as Shannon and Cannon being killed at the same time, even though we're missing a corpse.
という解釈で良い
そうなるわ
That's right.
順調に
Looks like the crimes are moving along. Just nonchalantly accept that, poof, the person no longer appears. They just no longer exist. Okay. This was the crime of the fourth twilight. The scene was the rose garden. There were no locks or doors. It wasn't a closed room. So the master keys were no longer a factor. Then the pace of the crimes began to accelerate. The pace of the crimes began to accelerate. The fifth twilight and sixth twilight. 2 days in one. Everyone took shelter in the guest house. They carefully sealed all doors and windows, locking themselves in a closed room. However, several closed room murders had already occurred. Could locking themselves in a closed room do anything more than invite another tragedy? After arguing fiercely in the cousin room about finding the culprit, they decided that they should double-check Nanjo, Kumasawa, and Goda's testimony. And there, they learned that a tragedy had occurred once more. In both Goda-san's and Kumasawa-san's cases, such wounds would have resulted in instant death, I believe. Such a gruesome way to die. Can't tell they can survive with wounds like this. Goda-san and Kumasawa-san are both dead. Well, they have been busy, keeping a lookout and locking up and all that. Once again, none of us has an alibi. That's not true. Look, if they were killed in that way, the culprit would definitely have gotten blood splatter on themselves. But Dr. Nanjo and all the cousins have no blood splatter on them. All of us, in other words, the 4 cousins and Dr. Nanjo couldn't have killed Goda-san and Kumasawa-san. In that case, it's clear that the culprit is someone other than us. I guess that someone might have snuck in, so I checked around, but the guest house was still completely locked up. Perhaps the culprit has a master key after all. That's impossible. No master keys exist anymore except the 2 keys on the 2 people who lie dead here. Since the 2 master keys that exist are here inside the guest house, that makes this guest house a perfect closed room. Well, since someone's dead, it obviously wasn't perfect. This was the crime of the 5th and 6th twilights. The scene was the closed room, known as the guest house. Goda's and Kumasawa's master keys were also destroyed, meaning that all master keys have now been lost. Now, no one can break into this closed room guest house. At least, that should have been the case. The 7th twilight. This time, Dr. Nanjo was killed. He died in the entrance hall of the guest house. It was far too foolish of him to come here alone to check that everything was locked. He's dead. He's been killed. Even I can say for sure that this was an instant death. Everything is locked up perfectly. How did it happen if this is a closed room? That means the culprit is one of us. Impossible. Judging by the circumstances, Maria, Battler, George Nissan, and I all couldn't have killed Dr. Nanjo. In the first place, no one could kill Dr. Nanjo inside the guest house. And look at this. Simply put, this is proof that Dr. Nanjo didn't leave the guest house. That means no one could kill Dr. Nanjo, right? So how was he killed? No one could answer that innocent question. There was a simple answer. This was the seventh twilight. Once again, the crime scene was the closed room known as the guest house. Various bits of evidence made this crime seem even more impossible. Then, the tragedy reached the eighth twilight, the final one. The eighth twilight. This is a very weird setup. By now, it was clear that holding up wouldn't keep them safe. Jessica might have chosen anger as a way to numb her fear. She flew out of the guest house in a rage, searching for the culprit that surely hid somewhere outside. George, Battler, and Maria hurriedly chased after her. Then, outside the building, they found Jessica lying on the ground. It was, as anyone could tell at a glance, a gruesome corpse. Poor Jessica-chan. She probably died instantly. There's no way anyone could live through this. The three of us were together the whole time. George, Aniki, Maria, and I couldn't have killed Jessica. No, the three of us couldn't have killed Jessica. As if Maria-chan could kill someone. Maria-chan couldn't kill anyone. Thanks. George Oni-chan couldn't kill an adult. He could kill a kid, though. I don't understand it at all. What the hell is going on here? This was the eighth twilight. The crime scene was outside. However, the three who chased after Jessica have alibis. George, Battler, and Maria couldn't have killed Jessica. So, is there really someone hiding on the island apart from the Ushimiya family? The curtain is lowered on this tale for now. That's all for my tale. Pretty well made. If you had a full-on reader, you'd stand up well against Sayato's game. I agree there. You did a good job. Well, the real word comes from taking this, reading it, and making it worthy of a proper theater going. Still, I'm stumped. On the face of it, the culprit has to be some mysterious person outside the Ushimiya family. And that would be the same as acknowledging the existence of a witch. We can also suspect the existence of some accomplices to aiding the culprit. By the way, what is that purple text all about? A new rule? I call them purple statements. It's a rule I made to keep the story a bit easier to follow. Just think of the purple statements as important spoken statements. In other words, you might be able to ignore the spoken statements that aren't purple. Oh, well, that's nice of you. Then, are the purple statements as reliable as red truth? Yes. You can think of the purple statements as having the same power as red truth. However, there's one exception. A culprit can tell lies with purple statements. I see. To turn it around, anyone who isn't a culprit can't tell lies. Purple statements. These seem to be the key to Lady Ferncastle's game. Oh. Yeah, that's right. I'll explain the rules. The definition of culprit is one who murders. It is possible for a culprit to lie. It is possible for a culprit to lie even before committing murder. Characters who are not culprits only speak the truth. Characters who are not culprits may not cooperate with a culprit. Characters who are not culprits may not cooperate with a culprit. Okay. A culprit must carry out all murders directly by their own hands. A culprit must not die. A culprit must be among the characters appearing in the story. Purple statements are as absolute as red truths. However, the culprit alone may lie with purple statements. That's all. The definition of culprit is one who murders. Makes sense? It is possible for a culprit to lie. That seems reasonable enough, too. It is possible for a culprit to lie even before committing murder.
そりゃそうだろう。
Well, no surprises there.
犯人でない
Characters who are not culprits only speak the truth.
ありがたい話
How
で
convenient.
犯人でない
Characters who are not culprits may not cooperate with the
犯人
culprit,
に協力
right?
しないですね。
これはつまり
So the culprit can't make accomplices tell lies to match your version of events.
やられたな。
Damn.
犯人をかば
My
って
guess was that someone
ア
manufactured
リ
an
バイを
alibi to
捏造
cover
し
for
てい
the
る奴が
culprit,
いると疑
but
ってたんだ。
お会いに
oh, too bad.
犯人は
The
全て
culprit must carry out all murders
自ら
directly
の手
by
で
their own
直接
hands.
行うつまり
In other words, there are no remote or indirect methods of murder,
間接
like
殺人
traps.
はないというわけ
犯人が
The
死ぬこと
culprit
は
must
ない。
not die.
つまり
In other words, they
殺害
can't
後
commit murder from a
密室
closed
を
room,
構築して自
then
殺って
commit
ことは
suicide
ない
inside it.
それはつまり
Doesn't that
死
also
者
mean
は
that
犯
dead
人で
people
は
can't
ない
be
ってこと
culprits?
にもなるわね。
うん
Hmm.
それは地味
That's
に
a simple
重
yet
要な
vital
情報
piece of
である
information.
犯人は
A
登
culprit
場
must be
人物
among the
の中に
characters appearing in the story.
未知の人物が
So
島
this
に
isn't
紛れ
about
込ん
some
で
mysterious stranger who snuck onto
な
the
しって
island.
わけだ。
登場人
The
物
appearing characters are the same old 17 people
い
after
つもの
Kinso
お
was
約束の
removed.
17人それ以外は
No one
登場
else
しない
appears in the story,
関係ない
so no one else matters.
紫の
Purple statements are as
赤き真
absolute
実
as
と
red
同じ
truths.
価値観
However, the culprit alone may lie with
紫
purple
の発言
statements.
で嘘これが厄介であ
Now
る
here's a troublesome one.
ゲーム
It
の
might be
紐
the
っ
heart
てと
of
こ
this
ろだろ
game.
うぜ。
Yeah?
それでゲ
Does
ー
that
ムの
cover
前
all
提とや
this
らば終わ
game's
りか。
basic rules?
最後に付け加えると
Besides
したら
that, I guess there's only the reader will tell no lies.
つまり
In other words, outside of spoken statements, there are no lies in the narration. I could have added that stuff if I wanted, but it'd be a pain and it'd make things complicated.
魔女の特権
So,
を自
you
ら
willingly
手放す
abandoned a witch's privileges.
大した余
You
裕であ
seem
る
quite confident.
それでも勝
She
てるつも
probably
りだろう
plans
ぜ
to win despite that.
私からは以上で
That's
す
all from me.
これ以上は
I don't intend to
何
give
の
you
質
any more
問も
hints
ヒント
or
も出
answers
すつもりはないわ
hints or answers any more questions.
立ち会い人として
As the observer,
最後に
I'll
改め
proclaim
て
this
宣言
once
する
again.
わ以上の情
I
報で
guarantee that it's
犯人
possible
が
to
特
pinpoint
定
the
できるこ
culprit
と
with
を
this
保証す
information.
る
よし
Okay,
了解した
got it.
腕が鳴るぞ
I can't wait to get
そ
started.
なたと共に
I
また
can't believe the two of us are going to take on the same mystery together once more.
あ
Yeah,
あ楽しませて
I'm
も
looking
らおう
forward
ぜ
to it. This is a real game between you and me. I recommend finding some paper and something to write with. Hey, see? See? That is, if you really intend to fight me. If you do get completely stuck, maybe you should listen in on Battler and Beato's reasoning. We'll have those be hints for when you get absolutely stumped and can't move forward. Still, I'd rather fight you one-on-one. If you plan to enjoy our little duel, then try defeating me by your own power alone, without relying on hints. Okay, let's enjoy ourselves, shall we? Enjoy this game that I've created just for you. Alright, I'm gonna save a spot here. Read again, show rules, check purple hints. Okay. Read again, would that be the whole story through it again? Check purple. Let's go by chapter first. Alright. Okay, so. The culprit cannot be. Culprit can't die. First Twilight. The dining hall was locked up. Kumasawa was the first to arrive. Go to unlock the door, huh? Yabasama, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, Kiri, Rosa, and Genji, 6 people, all were lying there covered in blood. Everyone gathered in the dining hall. It's pretty straightforward and nothing really to question about there. Other than potentially Goda, that's it locked up. Goda's the one that once dies later. Jessica's statement, that's not purple. There was a chance they might have been alive still. Everyone was shaking them desperately. Each of the children confirmed the deaths of their own parents. Dr. Nancho and I confirmed that Genji-sama was dead. And there's no accomplices. They only speak truth. Okay. Nancho, no one is going to mistakenly confirm a death, even those other than myself. All the victims died instantly. Okay. After inspecting the interior of the dining hall, we determined that all the doors and windows had been locked, making it a closed room. Nothing suspicious was found inside the dining hall. There was no one hiding in the dining hall either. It's clear that no one is hiding. Kraus, George, Bowker, and Kraus. We destroyed Genji's key. It was Natsuhi. All doors can only be locked or unlocked with a master key. It's possible to lock or unlock doors from inside the room even without a master key. Consider master keys to be the only keys that exist. There are 5 master keys total. One is held by each of the 5 servants. The servants keep the master keys on their person at all times, so it is impossible for them to be stolen, handed over, or used by any human other than themselves. Goda's, Madame's room is locked. I unlocked the door. Kraus and Natsuhi-sama lay sprawled on the floor inside the room. Dr. Nanjo checked their pulse, then he announced that 2 of them had died instantly. I confirmed both of their deaths. There can be no doubt that they died instantly. I found that the window and doors were all locked, making it a closed room. All of us servants were together the whole time. All of us servants can prove an alibi for all the other servants. We can pack and tape all of the outside of the room. We also sealed the dining hall in the same way. We also sealed the mansion itself, and all of us took refuge in the guest house. Layout of the mansion. All the windows that seal bars and possible enter or leave by them. We say that they sealed the whole mansion by sealing 2 doors, the front and the back one. The culprit of the first Twilight really did kill 6 people. Seals on the room. We all went outside to look for them. We found Shannon-chan lying there in the rose garden. Oh, poor Shannon-chan. I was forced to acknowledge that she was dead. I also examined her and confirmed her death. Two of them left. He's taking off on the guest house, so not one of us has an alibi. Me? Kill her? How could I have killed her? That's right, George Nichan couldn't kill her. At the very least, George Nichan couldn't possibly have killed Shannon. Anyone other than George Eniki could not have killed her. Destroyed the master key on the spot. From now on, Cannon is treated as being killed. Also, Cannon's master key is treated as being destroyed. And that's in red. That was 4th. Judging by these wounds, Goda-san and Kurosawa-san died instantly. Goda-san and Kurosawa-san are both dead. None of us has an alibi. blood splatter. Dr. Nodge and all the cousins have no blood splatter. Okay. But considering the way they were killed, the culprit would definitely get blood splatter on themselves. The 4 cousins and Dr. Najo couldn't have killed Goto-san or Kumasawa-san. Everyone tells the truth. Guest house was still completely locked up. No master keys exist anymore except the 2 on the people who lie dead here. And physics, well, my first guess is Nanjo. He had a lot of ability to do this stuff. He's dead. He's been killed. This was an instant death. Everything is locked up perfectly. No one can assist. She probably died instantly. No way she could live through this. The 3 of us were together the whole time. George, Enki, Maria, and I couldn't have killed Jessica. The 3 of us couldn't have killed Jessica. Maria-chan couldn't kill anyone. George and E-chan couldn't kill an adult. He could kill a kid, though. These are the 17 people, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17. Okay. So these are the only people that are available. Oop. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the first deaths. And 13 died. And Cannon disappears and is considered dead. Culprit is defined as one who murders. It is possible for a culprit to lie. It's possible for a culprit to lie even before committing murder. Characters who are not culprits only speak the truth. Characters who are not culprits may not cooperate with the culprit. A culprit must carry out all murders directly by their own hands. A culprit must not die. A culprit must be among the characters appearing in the story. Purple statements are absolute red truths, however, a culprit, and only a culprit may lie with purple statements. Outside of spoken statements, there are no lies in the narration. Now, here's a question. They keep saying a culprit, not the culprit. Can there be multiple culprits? Let's go by character, I guess. Okay, none of them made statements because they all died straight off the bat. If it's one of them, the cousins are the last ones left. Looks like all victims died instantly. We've put packing tape all over the outside of the doors and windows, sealing them. Everything is locked up perfectly. There's no way she could live through this. The three of us couldn't have killed Jessica. George and Ichan couldn't kill an adult. He could kill a kid, though. Of course, there was no one hiding in the dining hall either. I was forced to acknowledge that she was dead, but the guest house was still completely locked up. That was an instant death. No one could kill Dr. Nacho inside the guest house. cannot be dead. Can't be several culprits. And George and Maria's statements are very important and questionable. Maria's statements, for instance, all the victims died instantly, could be a very important one to take care of. He put packing tape all over the outside of the doors and windows, sealing them. They could say they didn't seal another one. Everything is locked up perfectly. Could be unlocked. There's no way she could live through this. The three of us couldn't have killed Jessica. George and Ichan couldn't kill an adult. He could kill the kid, though. Dealing with nodules is what I was looking at. No one is going to mistakenly confirm a death, even those other than myself. Correct. I confirmed both of their deaths. There can be no doubt that they died instantly. We also sealed the mansion itself and all of us took refuge in the guest house. I also examined her and confirmed her death. Judging by these wounds, Godasani and Masawa-san died instantly. I believe. Such a gruesome way to die. Alright. So, who confirmed deaths? Everyone gathered in the dining hall. After inspecting the interior of the dining hall, we determined that all the doors and windows had been locked, making it a closed room. It's clear that no one is hiding. Okay, first twilight. Okay, go back, give me a sec. Check purple by chapter, first twilight. Closed room scene. Kraus, Battler, George, and Kraus. No one hiding in the dining hall. It's clear that no one is hiding. Second twilight. Torches and locks. Andrew. Shannon. Purple. What exactly is the point of sealing the mansion? Sealing mansion to preserve the crime scene. That's an important thing. This is a very minimalistic game, so everything is rather important. They sealed the mansion. Okay, to make it so, but then never referenced it, never brought it back up. So what is the point of that? Make it so that we couldn't leave the mansion if somebody was hiding in there? Nobody has an alibi. That was, I believe, the third? Character chapter. Fourth. From now on, Canon is treated as being killed. Also, Canon's master key is treated as being destroyed. Canon cannot be the culprit. Defined by red. Canon's statements are true. Dr. Nanjo and I confirmed that Genji-sama was dead. Kraus-sama and Natsui-sama lay sprawled on the floor inside the room. All of us servants can prove an alibi for all of the other servants. So the servants are not culprits. Canon said so. And Canon was confirmed in red as being dead. His statements are true. Therefore, all of the servants can prove an alibi for all the other servants. All of the servants are cleared. Each of the children confirmed the deaths of their own parents. I unlocked the door. All of the servants were together the whole time. But then, that caused the problems for... That causes problems with the locks. That causes problems with the locks. But All of the servants can prove an alibi for all the other servants. On the second twilight. Second twilight. First twilight. They prove an alibi for the second twilight, which means there'll be a second culprit. Okay, the second twilight. What was the second one? That's in Krause's room. Alright, see ya. Thanks for sticking around. Not sure if I can figure this one out in time, but I'm gonna give it a hell of a shot. Alright. And will this be the end of the game if I finish it? I'm gonna give it a try. Alibi for the servants. All the servants were together the whole time. All the servants prove an alibi for all the other servants. The second one. Genji's master key. Only for the second one. Checking corpses and logs. All the servants were together the whole time. Dr. Nanjo and I confirmed that Genji-sama was dead. It's not? Alright. Confirmed that Genji-sama was dead. Now that either means that Nanjo's the one I'm suspicious of. It's the doctor and whatnot. He can fake deaths. First twilight, no one is going to mistakenly confirm a death, even those other than myself. I confirmed both of their deaths. There can be no doubt that they died instantly. We also sealed the mansion itself, and all of us took refuge in the guest house. I also examined her and confirmed her death. Judging by these wounds, Goto-san and Kusawa-san died instantly. I believe. Yes, I believe. Such a gruesome way to die. Alright, that was 5th and 6th twilights. Give me a sec. Maybe when Goto-san and Kusawa-san died instantly. Jessica, like hell they could survive it. Goto-san and Kusawa-san are both dead. There's Nanjo, Battler George Maria, Jessica. Four cousins and Nanjo, yeah. Alright. The hardest part is just narrowing it all down between, since there's multiple potential culprits, there has to be. Because the servants... Cannon is the only... Let's go look at the red again. We got red guarding master keys. Basically the setup. All doors can only be locked or unlocked with a master key. Other than locking it from inside, manually. So master key is the only keys that exist. One is held by each of the 5 servants. Okay. Servants are the only ones who can use them. Servants are the ones who can unlock a door from outside. All the windows and steel bars, you can leave by a window, you can only leave by the front or the back door. I think that's important. The culprit of the first twilight really did kill 6 people. Wording. The culprit of the first twilight really did kill 6 people. The seals on the room. Not the first twilight had 6 deaths. The culprit killed 6 people. That culprit. The group sealed the room at the same time they left. No culprit joined the group as they left. Also, all the seals in that Matsui's room. The dining hall and the mansion itself will not be broken. This is 4th and 5th, I think. No, this is the second one. This is the second one. The group sealed the room at the same time they left. No culprit joined the group as they left. Also, all the seals on Natsuhi's room, the dining hall, and the mansion itself will not be broken. Okay. The mansion itself will not be broken. this is in red. Red is very important. The group sealed the room at the same time they left. No culprit joined the group as they left. Also, all of the seals on Natsuhi's room, the dining hall, and the match itself will not be broken. So it's Natsuhi's room, which is... Okay, so... Rudolph, Kraus, Yugoshi, Eva, Genji, and Rosa. Okay. And then the second one was Kraus and Natsuhi. And the match itself will not be broken. And so they sealed the whole match on the second Twilight. Where's the third Twilight? 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. There's no third. Why is there no third? Shannon Cannon vanish. Alright, let's check no red. No red. No red. So the next one is Shannon. But Genji is the questionable one. As they say in here, no culprit joined the group as they left. Okay, so nobody joined into the group and pretended to be with them. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. Right, okay. No culprit joined them. That does not mean that the culprit could still be there. The dining hall, the match in itself will not be broken. That doesn't mean they can just sit in the room for the next 5 days and not break the seal or whatever the hell it is. So they could still be a culprit in there. But no culprits, okay, no culprit, not... No culprit joined the group as they left. And also all the seals not to the room, dining hall, the match itself will not be broken. So this one is an important one. All the servants can prove an alibi for all the other servants. All the servants were together the whole time. First Twilight. Checking the corpses. Can you confirm that Genji was dead? Canon is a guaranteed truth person. Dr. Nanjo and I confirmed that Genji-sama was dead. Let's get rid of the Nanjo theory for now. He is dead by the end of it, but culprits couldn't. I dislike Maria as... I dislike Maria's statements. Those are a lot of important ones. Okay, so can I read again? Let's go with First Twilight. Alright. Okay, let me see how power through this. Tried from site, discovered at 6 in the morning on the following day. Doesn't matter. Go to who had woken up to get breakfast ready. Wanted to check on the adult siblings who had remained in the dining hall since the previous night of the family conference. Goto was the first responder. Tell us about when you discovered the crime. The dining hall was locked up. Of course, there was locks on the doors to the dining hall, but these remained unlocked. I knocked, but there was no answer. Yada yada. That's when I arrived. Goto then Kumasawa. I recommended that he try and lock the door just in case. I unlocked the door with the magic key, turned back side away to me, blah blah blah. Everyone's dead. 6 people in all were lying there covered in blood. Great tumult followed. Everyone gathered in the dining hall.
思い出したくもあり
I
ます。
don't remember it. The sight of all the sobbing children crouched with the corpses of their
泣
own
き叫ぶ
parents.
子供たち。
Yada yada. Chance they are all still alive. Parents were seeking them desperately,
しかし
but it was no use. Each of the children confirmed the deaths of
自
their
分
own
の親
parents.
は間違いなく死んでいることを確認なさいました。
That's an important one. The children confirmed the deaths of their own parents. So we have Rudolph, and Kiri, Hideyoshi and Eva, Genji and Rosa. The children confirmed the deaths of their own parents.
僕と
Dr.
南條
Nanjo
先
and
生
I confirmed that Genji-sama
現
was
実
dead.
が死ん
むごたらしい
He was
殺
going to
し
be
方して
killed.
な
No
か
one
っ
is
た
going to mistake me from death, even those other than myself. That's a very iffy statement.
犠牲
It
者
looks like all the victims died
即
instantly.
死
食堂内を
After
調べ
inspecting
た
the interior of the dining hall, we determined that all the
扉も
doors and
窓
windows were
も
locked.
全て
Closed
施
room.
錠され
そして
Kraus, I think, is a trustable one.
食堂内で
Nothing suspicious was
不
found
審な
inside
も
the
のが
dining
何
hall.
も見つかもちろん
Of course, there was no one hiding in the dining hall either.
何者かが
隠れる
Naturally,
私たち
all of
は
us
今
are
こ
here
こにい
right
て
now.
誰も
It's
隠れ
clear
て
that
い
no
ない
one
こ
is
とは
hiding.
明白だ
でも父
Your
さ
dad,
ん
if that true doesn't make
殺され
sense.
た
If
6
people were killed in the dining hall of the closed room, how could someone have killed them and escaped?
考えた
I'd
くはあ
rather
りま
not
す。
think
マ
of
ス
it,
タ
but
ーキー
perhaps
を
the
持
servants
つ
with the master
使
key
用
are
人
most
が怪しいでし
suspicious.
ょ
6人を殺し打
I'm
倒
gonna skip that.
とんでもありません
マスターキー以外の方法で
赤もちろん
Yeah.
マスターキー
マス
このゲー
となれば
マスター
それは
つまり
現
後のトラブルを予防するため
Alright.
現時のマスターキー
The
を破壊して
kids
おきました
checked the corpses of the adults. So, Battler checked Rudolph and Kiri. George checked Eva and Hideyoshi. Jessica checked Kraus and Natsuhi. That's, I think, an important distinction. And then Kanon and Nanji checked for Genji. What are Battler's statements? I think Battler, for the most part, is a safe bet for being trustable. Nothing suspicious was found inside the dining hall. Dr. Nanjo checked their pulse, then he announced that the two of them had died instantly. He's saying that Dr. Nando checked and then said, not that it happened. He's saying that he said it. Then we did the same with the dining hall. We also sealed the dining hall in the same way. Anyone else in the George Eniki could have killed her. Fourth Twilight. None of us has an alibi with business 6. Okay, well, that's an interesting one. If we go with Battler is true, chapter 5 and 6. The 4 cousins of Dr. Najee Battler. None of us has an alibi. That'd be the 5 of why don't they have an alibi? And Jessica says that all of us, in other words, the 4 cousins and Dr. Nanjo, couldn't have killed Goda-san or Kumasawa-san. Goda and Kumasawa were the first ones to reach the scene. They could start saying everyone's a culprit. Right. And Jessica dies at the 8th toilet, right? Or Jessica, she probably died instantly. Maria, there's no way she could live through this. George, Aniki, Maria, and I couldn't have killed Jessica. Okay. So the second Twilight is when they sealed up the room. And then we have Shannon. What's the 5th one? 2 corpses. Goten Kumasawa. Nanjo. He said he's been killed. He mentioned it's a death. Everything is locked up perfectly. How did it happen? This is a closed room. Maria's statements are most suspicious. She's the one defining all of the blocks. 1st, 2nd, 7th, and 8th. First one, all of them died instantly. But it was canon. If they check the adults. So Maria, if we go with her as a liar, Rosa could potentially still be alive. So, 7th Twilight. Everything is locked up perfectly. How did it happen? If she's lying, that could be locked up. 8th Twilight. There's no way she could live through this. The 3 of us couldn't have killed Jessica. And a odd statement. Okay, so the 2nd Twilight, 2nd Twilight. I can prove both of their deaths, no doubt. So the windows and doors were all locked, making it a closed room. Okay, theory. Somebody from the 1st Twilight, good chance it's Rosa or some such, faked their death. Maria, being an accomplice, went along with it. Yeah, somebody faked the death in the 1st Twilight. Can't be Genji, so it has to be Battler, George, or Maria for this theory to work. Like, let's just go with Rosa. She left, went up, killed Krause and Natsui, went back, and then they sealed everything, and then she just stayed there. Technically, it fits. And then all those crimes make do. 1st and 2nd Twilight are done. Mansion is over with. Then we move out, and Maria is the culprit still. But the culprit has to commit murder, so 1st and 2nd Twilight. First one, all Rosa. Second one, again, all Rosa, for instance. And that culprit is now locked in the mansion and doesn't leave. 4th Twilight. Channing can vanished alibis. George couldn't kill her. She could lie. Maria and George and Rosa, potentially. Jessica, at the very least, George Neeson couldn't possibly have killed Shannon. Okay, anyone other than George and could have killed her. Not one of us has an alibi. Okay. Alibis. None of us has an alibi. Blood splatter, but Dr. Nandra and all the cousins have no blood on them. If we take George's statements as true, and then Maria, she contradicts that. Dr. Nandra and all the cousins have no blood splatter on them. She could quite very well have blood splatter on herself and then be lying about that. Just from a logistical technical point. The 4 cousins and Dr. Nandra couldn't have killed Goda-san or Kumasawa-san. Where was this? Guest house was still completely locked up. This is the guest house. I'm trying to minimize the amount of culprits. The other, and it's time. I'll need a lot more time on this one to figure it out. The other one is another theory. Let's scrap the Rosa one. Goda and Kumasawa are culprits. And they were the first ones to arrive at the crime scene. Goda killed everybody there, locked the door, and Kumasawa went with it. Second alibis for the servants. All the servants have an alibi. And that's from canon. None of the servants could have killed for the 2nd Twilight. It has to be somebody else. one of the thoughts for the fourth Twilight, fifth Twilight, was Goda and Kumasawa kill each other. That would solve that problem. But none of us has an alibi. Jessica says the four cousins in Dakunajo couldn't have killed Goda-san or Kumasawa-san. I'm treating Jessica as truthful. The seal doesn't break, so it would have to be something in the fourth one being an oddball. Thus, the servants aren't entirely capable. George didn't kill her. Yeah, Maria and Battler both say the same thing, so the comment is doubled up. Nobody has an alibi, that doesn't matter. It only matters if they do have one. Not one of the servants has an alibi. Not one of the servants, not everybody is servants. Okay. Okay, the servants don't have an alibi. Kumasawa still could be it. If we treat Go to Satan as true, the servants don't have an alibi. Then Kumasawa could have done it. And then in the fifth one, Goda-san and Kumasawa. Culprit has to be alive, right? Must carry out all murders directly by their own hands. The culprit must not die. Okay. Nanjo died instantly. It's complicated. Yeah. I hear you. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of different paths that can happen. There has to be multiple culprits. There just has to be. It's not possible for one culprit to do all of these crimes. So I'm going with 2, potentially 3. That's kind of what I'm ballparking on. But it's starting to spiral out. Well, let's go with Kumasawa. No, we can't do that. The second Twilight is a pivotal one. The first one, just about anybody could have done it. I'm pretty confident in Maria being a culprit. In that case, she would have to kill somebody sometime. I think she might have killed Nanjo. The first Twilight, 6 people were killed. The second Twilight, 2 people killed, and the mansion is sealed. I'm gonna have to work on this one. We'll continue this one tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we'll have another learning stream, and I'll pick up where I left off on this one and work through it. Cause yeah, I just gotta get going, otherwise the internet's gonna start wigging out. What is this? Too many. I'll keep trying to. I'm not gonna write down all of this, but chapter. First Twilight, 6 corpses, I got them. Second Twilight, Matsui. Fourth Twilight, Shonen Cannon. Fifth Twilight, 2 corpses, go to Kurosawa. 7th is Nanjo. And the last one is Jessica. And just so I can have shorthand. Rouse, Natsuhi, Jessica, Eva, Yoshi, George, Rudolph, Kiri, Batner, Rosa, Maria, and then Nanjo, Genji, Shannon, Cannon, Koda, Kumasawa. Alright. So that's gonna be it for today. I'm gonna think on it. I'm not gonna solve it. I'm not gonna be running the game until next time. I'm gonna be trying to think about stuff. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I do have a safe spot here. Alright, that'll be it. I know I probably could figure it out if you're willing to sit with me for the whole time. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna try and solve it without hints. The difference between this setup and everything else prior is I didn't know what was or was not a thing that could be considered important. This has it all narrowed down, very much so. So I now say, this is a fact, this is something of interest. This can be questioned, as opposed to everything can be questioned. Anyway, see you guys later. I got a lot to think to. If it's possible, it's possible. Because, like, there's a whole, like, fourth, fifth, that was, like, entirely magical. I just wrote off the whole thing as an illusion. It's hard, but it's a logical puzzle. Not a bullshit magical puzzle.